Hi, this is a tutorial for the budget and spend control app FitFin. Now, FitFin is a great way for you to gain and maintain control of your spending. And everything I'm about to show you, from storing and retrieving receipts, to creating shopping lists, to looking up prices for products that I buy among all the different stores that I go to, all of that can be achieved simply by taking a picture of my receipt with my phone's camera. And you can see now, I'm going to talk about the home page. The home page of FitFin is an envelope-style budgeting tracker. And I can see the top line summary. As of April 9th, I've spent a certain $566 in the month of April. And then below that are the numbers in the individual budgets that make up that top line. So I have a grocery budget, household, etc. You can also see that certain budgets are green and certain ones are yellow. The way it works, down at the bottom there's a legend. If I spend 75% or less of my budget, it's going to be green. And when I get to 75%, it turns yellow. And when I go over, it turns red. So it's a very visual way for me to see where I am, both top line and individually. Also, how does the numbers even come into play, or how does this number even happen? There's a couple of things with it. At the bottom, you'll see one thing that says unmarked money or potential savings, in this case, is $905. That basically means that I have $905 that has not been marked for something. Maybe it hasn't been marked for a budget or something like that. Also, in the top right corner number, there's a $2,705 number. How do those two numbers get created? I'm going to show you that next. In fact, the first thing you do when you sign up for a new account on FitFin is you're going to go to this page here. And this is our fixed cost area. We believe at FitFin that everybody has three buckets of money. The first is your take-home pay after taxes, right? What do I have to live on? And then second is my fixed expenses, the things that don't change very much from month to month, mortgage, etc. So when you create a new account, this is the first area you're going to go to. I'm going to put in my take-home pay. The second line I can't do anything with it. It's actually a summary of all the lines that come to follow. So you can see, for example, if I change the mortgage number a little bit, you can see how it changes that number, right? And so what's cool about this page is I can make this as custom as I want to. If I long press, for example, on insurance, I can rename it, I can delete it, and I can even add, with the little plus sign down at the bottom, I can add new categories if I want to. So as your needs change, you can change this with those needs as they change. So once I'm done entering all that information in, I'm going to say done with fixed costs here. It pops up a window and tells me the difference between my take-home pay and my fixed expenses is $2,705. That is basically my allowance for going out to eat, for groceries and things like that. And then I click here and it allows me to set up my variable spending budget. So this is going to be your home page from that point forward. And again, you can see the 2705 at the top is that number, right? It's the difference between that take-home pay and my fixed costs. So it's a very realistic and accurate representation of your money. And again, this is going to be the home page every time I click into FitFin. So how do expenses get created when we're talking about variable spending? There's a couple of ways. One, I can actually add an expense manually at the top. If I click on that link there, I can put in a store name, and it's going to be memorized for me. How much is the amount? So it's based on my usage, right? What budget is it coming out of? And then what's the date? The date of expense is going to default to a current date, but I can go back and change that. And once I hit that expense, or once I say done, it will create that expense for me. The second way I can do it is I can actually take a picture of a receipt with my camera. Down at the bottom, you see the little camera icon. If I click on that, it's going to open up my camera, and I can take a picture of my receipt. And here's a picture of a receipt right there. Even though that receipt was old and crinkly, it works really well. It extracts the information pretty well. And once I do that, once I take a picture of the receipt, FitFin processes it in a couple of ways. One, it'll create the expense that goes against my tracker, right? So if I have a $200 expense, it's going to increase it by $200 based on whatever budget I take it out of. And the other thing it's going to do, though, is it's going to save that receipt and store it for me. And you see in the lower right hand area, I have a little receipt picture. If I click on that, it takes me to my receipts area. And I can search receipts quickly and view them. You can see I have a convenience of 7 days, 30 days, or I can even do a custom date range if I want to. I can search by store name. I can even search, this is cool, I can search by keyword. So if I put in the word bacon, for example, it'll search all of the receipts that have the word bacon on them. And if I click on that receipt, I can open it up and you can see this one has bacon all over it. So pretty cool. Think about that from a practical standpoint. Let's say I shop at Walmart a lot for groceries, but one time maybe I bought a TV at Walmart. And so I can tag that receipt so that later on, if I need to, I just go and type the word TV in there or whatever you want to put in there and search it up in a matter of seconds. So at a very basic use of this, I have a great way for me to go and search my receipts. In the receipt list here, you can see if I have the receipt icon there, it means I have an actual picture of a receipt that I took. If I don't, it means it was a manual expense entry. I can actually sort in this view too by store name if I want to, just by clicking on the store name at the top. I can sort by the amount if I want to. I can sort by the date. In fact, the most current date is going to be the default for this particular view. But you can see how I can quickly find whatever I'm looking for. The other thing is, again, I can do it last 7 days, or if I come to the bottom and just do search receipts without any filter, it's going to give me every receipt that I've ever had. And I can also sort by multiple filters. I can sort, give me all of my receipts from Walmart with the word bacon on them or whatever it is. So it's a very easy way for me to store and maintain my receipts. But in addition to not only being able to have the expense from a receipt, right, to have my, hey, I bought $160 from Walmart on April 8th, we also take the individual items on a receipt and we store those for you. And let me show you what I mean by that. If I click on the shopping cart down at the bottom, the shopping cart icon, I go to an area called My Items. So we take individual items from your receipt and we store them for you. And there's multiple reasons why we do that. First, let me show you a couple of things. If I go to item search, I can actually search my items by store or by product. And just as an example, I'm going to show you what I mean by product. So if I search for the word milk, it's going to give me all the places where I buy milk. And I can even sort it by amount. So if I wanted to see where my milk is cheapest, I can sort it by the amount and see, okay, it's cheaper at Target for that particular product. And I can do that for eggs. I can do that for whatever it is I buy, especially if I buy them at multiple stores. And 90% of people shop at multiple stores. So that's a good feature to be able to see where my products are cheapest. Going back to just the My Items general search, I can also search by store. So if I went to Walmart and did a search, I can have all these different things here and I can sort it out by date. And you can see the different things as they show up on a receipt. I can see when I bought it. I can see what I paid for it. And what's cool about this is if I wanted to change the name on some things, because sometimes a receipt doesn't have a great way to name things, I can long press it and I can rename it whatever I want to call it. And so it's very custom for me. And what's cool about this, and the reason I might want to do that, is I can actually take these items, say if I hit this top checkbox, I can select everything and I can hit create shopping list. It's going to create a shopping list for me for Walmart that has the item name and the amount on it. And I'm going to show you why that's important. Since I already have a Walmart shopping list, I'm going to click back on the My Items and go to shopping lists. And you can see in this sample, I've got 3 shopping lists, one for Costco, one for Target, one for Walmart. If I go into Walmart, I can see I already have one item highlighted. It's going to cost me $15.71. And if I start to add more items to it, and you see they become orange when I select them, means they're active, I can also see that my selected items total goes up by that amount of what I selected. So when you're talking about budgeting, it's going to tell me basically what I'm going to spend on this particular shopping list, right, with these 5 or 6 items that I have selected here. And then what's cool about it is right from my shopping list, I can hit check budget. So if I check my budget, I see, oh, I'm still doing pretty well on my grocery budget. I hit back to shopping list at the top, the link. This literally becomes my shopping list at the store. As I buy items, I just check them off my list, and we end up going back down to 0. And what's neat about this is I'm not going to forget items anymore because they are on my list, right? I just go down and find the things that I want to buy, and I check them. If I need to add something new to the list, I can hit edit, and I can do that fairly easily. I can even put them in the order that I go through the store just by dragging items up and down. So it's a really cool shopping list. Again, it's based on your receipts, so it's based on buying history, and so I know what I'm going to spend typically, and it's a good spend predictor. And it works the same exact way for every store that I shop at. So if I go to my Costco list, it functions exactly the same way. I don't have 5 different apps with 5 different shopping lists that I have to figure out. So it's a very consistent process there. So going back to the My Items menu, a couple other things. I showed you shopping lists. Spend by product is really cool. So if I click on this, it's going to show me where my money goes from the product level, right? How much do I spend on different products? How many times have I bought them? I can even sort it for the month if I want to. You know, if you're talking about trying to watch your expenses and how much you spend, it's kind of garbage in, garbage out. If I know specifically where my money's going, and if I need to cut $100 a month out of my spending, this is going to give me the knowledge or the data to know maybe where I could cut, right? Or maybe I want to cut and maybe eat a little bit healthier. I can come here and say, what are some of the things that I don't necessarily need based on my buying history? So it's more data than you've probably been used to before. But again, it's all generated based on taking pictures of my receipts. So another thing you can do is you can do spend by store, same exact concept. How much have I spent at all the different stores? And again, it's another way for you to kind of view your money in a different light than maybe you've been able to see it before. So that's how FitFin works. If you ever have any questions, you can email us at info@fitfin.com. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. But thank you for your time, and we appreciate it, and we hope you download our app.